The Las Vegas Raiders have a new interim head coach after recent reporting exposed the former locker room leader's series of emails containing derogatory terms. Jon Gruden resigned from the Raiders last night. A New York Times report showed he used misogynistic and homophobic language to criticize events and people in the NFL while he was a TV analyst. The emails stretched over a 7-year period. In a statement, the 58-year-old says he doesn't want to be a distraction, adding he's sorry and he, quote, never meant to hurt anyone. CBS News reached out to Gruden and the Raiders for comment, but have not heard back. Ken Belson is one of the reporters who broke this story. He's a New York Times reporter covering the NFL. Ken, welcome. Thank you for joining us. So this investigation really picked up steam after reporting on Friday showed Gruden also used racist language in emails. He even coached the team Sunday before stepping down yesterday. So tell us about the origins of this investigation. How did it all come together? And what's been the reaction from the Raiders?
So the first part is that this was part of an investigation into the Washington football team. There was a series of allegations made involving workplace misconduct, sexual harassment in the Washington team. And so in the course of that investigation, which began last summer, the investigators looked into the team's database, and the team president at the time, Bruce Allen, who left the team at the end of 2019, his emails were swept up in this investigation. Jon Gruden had nothing to do with the team. He never worked for the team, but he had been communicating with Bruce Allen over a bunch of years, Bruce Allen and others. And so these emails came to light in that investigation. So in a sense, it's a collateral story. There are many more emails, but regarding Jon Gruden, that's how these emails came to light. As for the team, well, he's got a lot of, there was no way he could sustain his leadership there after this latest set of emails. He could explain perhaps one email that happened 10 years ago, but when, as we detailed in the story, there are dozens of others, it's hard to explain how that was either a mistake or just a one-time event.
Mm-hmm. Right, and certainly the timing of all this must be relevant because, as you know, over the past 2 seasons, the NFL has ramped up its public messaging on fighting racial inequality and promoting LGBTQ inclusion. So, how then does this controversy impact those efforts? Does it show, there's a lot more work that needs to be done? What is the sort of the lasting fallout from this?
Yeah, the league has struggled for years to address issues like sexual harassment, domestic abuse, bullying, even in the NFL locker rooms. These are significant and deep-rooted problems, and there's no easy solutions. And then you add the issues from 2016, 2017 around protest at the national anthem, to highlight the need for criminal justice reform. These are significant and big issues, but the NFL, as the country's biggest league and sort of the country's water cooler, if you will, place where most Americans interact, has taken it upon itself to try to address these issues. And as these emails show, it's a deep-seated problem. You have decision makers, one of the most popular and best-known coaches, and a team executive, along with others, sort of callously and casually using this language, suggests that this isn't an easy fix at all.
Right. It sort of suggests this kind of clubby locker room culture that may be existing sort of underneath the surface, right? Like there's sort of like a public image and a private image. So do you feel like this will lead to more revelations of this kind of language and behavior?
Well, I mean, unearthing emails is not easy. They often don't spill out into public. This one happened to because at least one participant was on a team email account, but if it's between people on Gmail or Yahoo or some other account, these things don't typically bubble up, and that's what makes this story significant, is that it's a rare window into what people say behind closed doors and what they feel comfortable saying. And by the way, this isn't just about, say, the cheerleader pictures they shared, but he was criticizing the league itself the referees, the fact that there are women referees, the commissioner himself, owners, media members who cover the NFL. This was pretty broad-based attacks. And, and to have a prominent coach be the one saying it, this isn't some sort of random one-off player or maybe even assistant coach. This is a head coach, and one that was employed by ESPN for many years.
Right. Ken, earlier on CBSN, CBS News special correspondent James Brown spoke to my colleagues Lad Didier and Anne-Marie Green about the change needing to come from the top. Let's listen to what he said.
These people who hire these coaches or leaders in corporate America, executives, there ought to be a wholesome and a total look at the entire person, not just on the bottom line, if you will, in corporate America, not just in terms of wins and losses, but look about how many men, young, impressionable men, are being influenced about what they consider to be the most important thing, the leaders.
So, Ken, where do you think the NFL goes from here in addressing this sort of culture within the league from the top, right? I mean, it definitely does seem to be a top to bottom sort of problem. So does the NFL need to make some more changes that are recognizable, some more changes that are, at the very tippy top?
Well, James' point is very well taken, but there's some structural issues that prevent swift action. The NFL itself, as what we think of as the NFL, is actually sort of a trade association. It represents and does the marketing and media for the 32 individual franchises, which are run by 32 different owners who have their own priorities, their own interests, their own resources. And some teams are willing to follow the league's lead, and others are willing to circumvent it or downplay it or maybe not embrace it enthusiastically. I'll give you one example, and James sort of alludes to it, but the Rooney Rule, which the NFL put in 2003 to boost the number of coaches of color, has been a constant struggle. The league has mandated many things, but there are many loopholes. And in the end, the league, Roger Goodell and his other managers can't tell a team who to hire as a coach. So there are certain problems inherent in the structure of the league. They can't just say you must hire X number of coaches. And by the way, Roger Goodell isn't some free agent. He has to get the buy-in from the 32 owners. So the owners aren't going to make rules that hinder their own free movement. And that's, again, another hindrance on swift action.
Yeah, it does make it much more complicated. Well, Ken Belson of the New York Times, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your fantastic reporting with us. We appreciate it.
Okay, thank you very much.